Hi, Caleb with Brownells here, and in today's quick tip, I'm going to show you how to install the Aero Precision Easy Install pins. These pins, they say easy install pins, they are actually a little bit easier, and by pins, we're talking about the takedown pin and the pivot pin for an AR-15. So, let's just kind of jump right into it. I'll show you what they are and how they're different compared to standard Mil-Spec pins. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the actual takedown pins and then we'll take a look at the pivot pins. So the takedown pin is, design wise they're pretty much exactly the same. The takedown pin, there's really no difference, and the takedown pin, I'm referring to the pin that goes in the back here, right? And if you're familiar with how these install, they just go in the back here, like, let me just drop it in and I'll just kind of demonstrate briefly here. And then they're actually held into place by the detent and spring that go in the back. So these can't get any easier, so these are actually exactly the same. They just look a little bit different cosmetically. They have this nice kind of concave surface on them versus the standard Mil-Spec one, which is just kind of like a convex, like dome shape, right? And that's really the only difference there. Opposite side, there's a dimple in them. Whereas, of course, your Mil-Spec one is just flat. And that just makes it easier if you're using a tool to push these out. That makes them easier for the tool to kind of bite onto so you don't slip or anything like that. And that's really the only difference with the takedown pin. Now the pivot pin is where things get a little bit interesting. So I'm going to set these out the way here. And I'll just kind of compare them for you. So if you notice, on the pivot pin, so in my right hand here is a standard Mil-Spec pivot pin, and then in my left hand, or your right, that'll be the Aero Precision Easy Install pin. And if you notice, there's an extra hole in it. So that extra hole is actually, if you're familiar with like the tools that help you install these things, it's kind of like combining the utility of that tool with the actual body of the pin itself, which is pretty interesting. So with that, let me show you how to actually install them. So all you're going to do is you're going to position the pin so that the hole, that big hole there, goes through the hole in your receiver. And then you can take your spring and then feed your spring through that hole into the receiver. Then take the detent, right, and do the same exact thing. Alright, now for this part you're going to need another tool, a tool you should already have if you're assembling AR-15s, right? And that's just going to be a standard punch. You can use a 1/16, but what is this, 3/32? Yeah, so 3/32 will fit just fine. You just take the punch, position it, push that detent into the hole, and then from here you can just push the easy install pin in a little bit further as you remove your punch. And then it locks into place. So that first little click you heard was it locking into the channel, and then you can push it the rest of the way in, and then it goes in all the way. So that's all there is to it. So you don't have to worry about your detents flying off and landing in your coffee and stuff like that. Or even worse, just on the floor somewhere random in the universe. Or in orbit, they become part of Elon Musk is what's it, the Skylink or whatever it is. So then they're part of internet speed and whatnot. So with this, you don't really have to worry about that. Alright, so with that, they utilize the space. So if you look at this Mil-Spec one, there's blank space in the back here, that solid space. That's where they drilled the hole, so they didn't really have to make the pin super longer or anything like that. I did measure them because it did look a little longer. It's only, so this one compared to this random Mil-Spec piece here, it's 20 thousandths of an inch longer, which is not a lot for those of you who don't know. I'm going to show you what 20 thousandths of an inch looks like. It's so small I can't even get the caliper there. I promise I've used calipers before. That is it right there. That is put my thumb behind it so you can kind of maybe see better. I don't know. But that's 20 thousandths of an inch, so it's not significantly longer at all. Alright, so that's it. That's all there is to it. That's the Aero Precision Easy Install Pin Set. So if you have any questions or comments, you're watching this on a media service such as YouTube or Rumble or something like that, leave them down below. Or if you're watching this on the website, or if you just need any help with anything for any reason ever, feel free to give us a call on the tech line. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.